Hi, thank you for being here. My name is John Kenney, and because I'm a man, I'm going to read from notes.
I had notes, John.
I am the author of 2 novels and 4 books of poetry. Also a longtime contributor to The New Yorker. In a prior life, I was an advertising copywriter, for which I would like to apologize. After 28 years in Brooklyn, I now live in Larchmont, New York, with my wife and 2 children. My Zibby book, scheduled for April 2025, is called, I See You've Called In. Bless you. It is the funny-ish story about death, which is, of course, the pitch every publisher longs to hear. Mostly it's the story of a recently divorced, middle-aged obituary writer for an Associated Press-type agency who drunkenly writes his own obituary one evening, accidentally publishes it, and is then fired. But he can't be fired because he's considered dead to the company's computer system, and as such, they can't do that. And so instead, he's suspended pending an investigation to determine if, in fact, he is alive. Same old plot line. In the interim, at the urging of a woman he meets, he tries to find the meaning of life by going to the funerals and wakes of strangers, by facing the universal truth that is death, by trying to wake up and honor life. Also, there's a very steamy sex scene, and by very steamy, I mean tepid. And by tepid, I mean the 2 words I may have heard from my wife, those words being, "That's it." I wrote the book because I feel like some of us, perhaps many of us, sometimes walk through life looking for something, reaching for something, when it's always right there waiting for us. That too often we act as though we have time, that there will always be more time, when in fact it's a fleeting gift. I was inspired to write the book by something one of my 5 brothers said the last time I ever saw him. He was in the final stages of pancreatic cancer, but home now and well cared for. My 4 other brothers and I planned to visit, and I arrived first. Tom was in a lounge chair, too thin now, but smiling, still himself. A tall, handsome Irishman, a firefighter, on the rescue like our father and both grandfathers. He had run into burning buildings, had saved lives. He had worked the pile at 9/11 as a search and rescue worker. He was the fucking man. We talked for a bit, just he and I, and then I heard a car pull into the driveway, and I looked out the window and I said to him, "The others are here." And with Buster Keaton-like timing, stone-faced Tom dropped an arm, put his head to one side, and with a little smile on his face said, "Tell them they're too late." I wanted that, not that story, but the voice and the essence of looking death in the eye and smiling, of finding the impossible beauty of life in this 1 in 400 trillion chance of being born. This universal thing we daily ignore, our mortality, and how it is, I think, the greatest teacher in how to live a meaningful life, and yet it's so easy to forget. Virginia Woolf said, "Someone has to die in order that the rest of us should value life more." I wish that wasn't true. As for who the book is for, I believe that it's for every man, woman, and child on the planet, with the exception of maybe people in Belgium. That's a lie. I hope it's for anyone looking for a life-affirming story about people trying to make their way in the world, who fight the easy road of the everyday, and who ultimately reach for a life of deeper meaning simply by looking. I think it's for anyone who's ever thought in the lonely 3 a.m. of the night, "Holy crap, I'm going to die one day. What am I going to do with that knowledge?" And then maybe woke the next day and threw cold water on their salty, tear-stained cheeks and went out smiling and hopeful and profoundly awake to live. Thank you for the